second by Councilman Redcorn to resubmit the FY 21 budget.
Chairman, if I may, I think I'll just yield that to Mr. Waller for second, if that's okay.
Okay. Don't matter to me. Okay. Second is Councilman Waller. Call for the question, unless there's any discussion.
Just one quick item, Chairman.
Yes.
That was actually reviewed in the last meeting we had with Pam Jester, the numbers you saw today. It was recommended that we do a projection at the increased amount, but since we're going even above that, I just want to clarify that had been recommended to committee, and we prepared that just before we shut down. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one more thing, Lene and Lacey, have we let the people that are in the waiting room back in?
I am right now, and it is
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Ronshaw is in now.
Okay. Okay.
Call for the question.
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Revard,
Yes.
Councilman Waller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you. I want to go back to where we were. Approval of, this is in new business, approval of formal request for consultation meeting topics. Councilwoman Harlan made a very good suggestion during our biennial that we get together and formulate what we're requesting and ourselves follow through on it instead of, relying on the federal government to follow through for us. So my question is, Ms. Harlan, have you had a chance to look at that and get input on that and work on it?
I have looked at some comments from Councilwoman Foreman, Councilwoman Gray, and Councilman Waller. Mr. Revard has not responded, which I thought he would have several things that he wanted us to follow up with. So I've been kind of waiting on him, and I haven't heard from Councilman Redcorn yet. I would ask if we could go ahead. There's not an emergency situation here, so I would ask if we could go ahead and table this to the next meeting to be approved. By that time, I also haven't heard from Second Chair Red Eagle yet. So if we could table that, I make a motion to table it to the next meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Motion by Councilwoman Harlan and second by who?
Foreman.
Foreman, Councilwoman Foreman. Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, call for the question.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Revard, Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Harlan, for working on that, and I appreciate you putting that together. And I look forward to seeing what you present. I don't know that I'll have anything. I'll go through the meeting. I took a lot of notes, and I'll look through and maybe send you some of my concerns. Okay, moving on to Scholarship Committee. Second Chair Red Eagle.
Thank you, Chairman. The Scholarship Committee met at 9 o'clock this morning, and we picked some very good, excellent recipients for the scholarship this fall. They are as follows: Blake Bledsoe, Brayton Holloway, Elizabeth Weil, and Katie Free. And I'll make a motion that we accept these honorable students for $1,000 scholarships this fall.
Second.
Who was the second?
I am, sir.
Councilman Waller. Okay. Okay, good deal. Any discussion?
I just have one. Can you just make A motion that will come out of the S510 budget.
Yes, I'll make also amend the motion to the finances come out of the S510 budget.
I concur.
Call for the question.
Yes, call for the question.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
Abstain?
Councilwoman Foreman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're back on schedule. We're back to old business, and next one is old space, and it's got my heading on there. I was contacted on and met with Dr. Shaw and Mr. Johnson on July 28th. They're still on interested in our space next door to the south. Anyway, I'll let Dr. Shaw. Are you on, Mr. Shaw? Or Mr.
Yes,
Johnson?
Mr. Chairman, I think I'm on. Could you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wait.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate your inviting me, Mr. Chair, members of the Minerals Council. Thank you for allowing me the time to come address you on this topic of that south side office space. Yes, it's true. We've looked at that space. You know, we both have important missions we accomplish for Osage constituents, shareholders, and us, any Osages or non-Osage Indians that choose to come to this clinic. We have a 9,800 square foot facility over here with plans to provide more services. We have a lot of COVID-related services we've received supplemental federal funding for, but right now we're literally bursting at the seams. The first question I have to think of if we're going to hire somebody is, where am I going to have them sit? Where am I going to have a workstation available for them, short of a folding chair and a card table out in the hallway? Literally, we're full. Even storage has become very tight for us. We're rapidly outgrowing our space in general, but the COVID pandemic has made it even more severe as we try to hire contact tracers, RNs to supplement our nursing staff. Our purchase and referred care operation has gotten larger, so we've really tried to work hard on that. Let me just a second to silence this here. Sorry. And so we were aware of that space, and it's of course right across the driveway or the breezeway from the north side of our clinic. It seems like a natural place that we could expand to. I'm aware over a year ago when the Minerals Council went to what was the previous Osage Nation congressional offices, which was a bigger space. I used to office over there at one time, so I'm a little familiar with the layout. You know, it's not to me to tell you how much room you need. You need the room that you say you need. I guess I just wanted to articulate the room that we need to be able to fulfill our base function of providing health care to Osages, and including those non-Osage Indians that choose to come here. And about half of our clinic's patients are Osage and the other half are non-Osage Indians. We see both. We receive funding to provide care for both. Right now, we have plans to construct a new clinic at a site distant from the hill, but I see that being a project that's not going to be completed for 24 months. We sorely need space now to continue to conduct our operation so that we can see more patients. And so I come to you just to articulate that to you. I don't mean to ever be, I don't want my comments to ever be construed as my mission is more important than your mission. I would just say that we both have important missions. And I would just ask if you could give me that consideration to allow the clinic to have access to that space, preferably the entire space. And I've sort of surveyed it and have a plan for who would go over there and how many people we would seat there. But It's really, to me, it seems to be entirely at the Minerals Council's decision-making, whether that's something they want to do. And I realize it's going to be a little harder on you because you have to compress, and there's files over there that are important that you want to keep, although I'm aware that there's been an offer to archive those files from one of Casey Johnson's offices so that you still have access to those records. So anyway, I'd be willing to answer any questions you may have, but I appreciate you letting me to address you this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw. To that point, I have reached out to, or well, Casey put me in touch with archives, and I have been trying to set up a meeting next week to at least take a look and see if they can archive those files. I'll call them the Waltman Schroeder files, and then possibly store them. I think we looked at that before, but I thought it's worth looking at again. With that, I'll open the floor up to Councilman Revard.
Thank you, Chairman. I was just, I'm concerned about some of our records are filed in a fireproof safe on that space. Would we still have access to that fireproof safe? Or is that something that can be relocated or rebuilt on the other side of the building?
I'm going to answer that. I can, when I have that, if I have that, and when and if I have that meeting with Ms. Brown with archives, I will see if there will be you're just wanting to have access.
I just know that we store, some important documents in our safe that I think is fireproof. And I was wondering if that would be taken over, or could we still utilize that particular safe?
Okay. Well, I don't know. So you just want me to question on the safe, because I was concerned with if they could archive it, microfilm, digitize, whatever, put it in a format that we could, actually utilize. I want it user friendly. And I'm not sure if I mean, that's their business. Surely they know how to do that, but I'm not so sure if they know how to do it for the oil and gas and legal restrictions of, what I'm saying there. But anyway, I will, I say once digitized, access to the fireproof safe. Is that your question?
That's right. I don't even know what's in the safe, but I know it's years and years worth of Mineral Council business, I assume.
Oh, you're talking about the safe at in Lacey's office. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Councilwoman, are you done?
Yes, thank you, Chairman.
Councilwoman Foreman, and then Councilman Redfern.
Yeah, so Dr. Shaw, you mentioned you want the entire space. Do you mean the entire congressional side of the building? What used to be the congressional offices, the 8 or 9 offices?
No, ma'am, just what was the previous Minerals Council office where Mr. Bill Lynn currently offices at, just that south side of the building.
Oh.
And we would only be, we would not be, it would be administrative offices for us. There wouldn't be medical patients coming over there, possibly to contaminate the building somehow or pose a communicable disease risk to others working in the building. So I want to reassure the council that there shouldn't be any medical risk. It would only be for administrative offices, but that would create space so that we could see more medical patients in the clinic.
Well, thank you for that clarification. That answered my second question. I was in the middle of the pandemic. I was very concerned, but I have a third question. And that is, you said it would take about 24 months to get your new building. So this is just a temporary 24-month use of the space. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, ma'am. I don't, we've got a large clinic designed at this point that would be, at this point, 62,000 square feet, and we're currently 9,800, just under 10,000. So a substantial increase. I don't see that we would need to stay in there after that. So my plan would be to vacate at that time.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilwoman Councilwoman Harlan.
I'm sorry, I'm working off my iPad today, so I can't raise my hand, but I make a motion that we allow the health center to take over what is currently being used as our administrative space, and we move our administrative staff over to the old congressional space.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Anyone make a second on?
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Harlan and second by Councilwoman Foreman. Any more discussion?
Yes, I have some discussion.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shaw, for explaining that. I think that's kind of been something that we've all been wondering, and I've been a big proponent of, once you give up real estate, you don't get it back. I appreciate all the services that, I'm one of the recipients of you know, I get my medication, I go over there and I utilize our clinic. But on the other side, then over here, as an Osage, I'm over there. But in this seat, I said that this is the shareholder's house. And ever since the Minerals Council, when Minerals Council was here, this is where they come to do their business. This is where they come and do their irrevocable trust. This is where they come to, when if we were open, not in a pandemic, we would have our people in here. But we are in a pandemic and we don't know how long, you know, how long we're gonna be in this. My concern is we put those files over there for, you know, where producers could schedule time to go over there to use that as a well log room. That's been the long desire of, I know, of several of council members on here, and we made that happen. We've also spent an enormous amount of the shareholders' money when we came in here, and you know this when you were on Congress, that there was, you all left because of mold. OMC4 has spent probably $250,000 of utilizing money to mitigate the mold, paint, re-put new carpet in. When Congress went down to the building, they went down to the bank building, they took every bit of audio-visual media equipment that there was in here. So we spent probably a year of getting us up to speed, and and there's times we, like, you know, we have executive session here, we use that conference room that is right next to our chambers. We've spent a lot of money in here, but I'm not hearing, you know, hey, let's just move out, and also we've got Wi-Fi and all throughout our building, and we've made some substantial improvements to the shareholders' house, as I say. I've talked to several shareholders about this issue and how they felt. Some of them were former council members. And they said, that's ours. We've already paid for it. Then the other issue is, if we go back over there, now that we put some files that are, they're continue to be cleaned up, when you open them up, they're very dusty, and I like the idea of us taking the time to digitize them, but also save them. They're historical documents of that, you know, fortunate that we've got again. So I'm conflicted, and it's not that I don't want to see the Wajaji Clinic expand, but I know that there's been some other vacating buildings that are up here. I know that they closed down Head Start, and that's a whole building down there. If there were, I know that we are close proximity to you. So I know that looks favorable. It's just across the breezeway here, basically. And But I'm conflicted because to me, this is the shareholders' house, and if we give the space up, we may not get it back. And they may continue to keep it, so. That's my thoughts. You know, like I said, I'm just one vote here, but I will be voting no.
Councilman Redcorn,
Call for the question.
Councilman Foreman, are you fine with that?
Um, yes, I guess I'm fine with that. I was gonna offer some more discussion for this, but I'm actually for this because we are in a pandemic. It's, our people, including the shareholders, our people need, access to medical, facilities. And as long as, well, the one point I did want to make was that, the health clinic would have to help us pay for the move. As a matter of fact, they should offer to pay for the move or any expenses involved in that. And as long as it's temporary, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Shaw, do you want to speak to that before we take a vote? Have we
I believe
lost
my
you?
initial plan or thought was that Tribal Works would do the majority, if not all of the moving, and that the archiving department under the executive branch would do the actual archiving or digitizing of the records. But if there were to occur costs that none of the executive branch's departments could handle or were willing to handle, or it was over their budget or what have you, I would make every effort to defray that cost out of the Washagie Health Center budget. You know, we have our own professional fees line item. So if there was a contractor to assist with that, I would make every effort to pay for that. We have the funds to pay for those costs that are not covered. Navigating through procurement to help the Minerals Council move into a different space. I would hope that they would not make an obstruction out of that, because I see it part and parcel of helping the Washagie Health Center, a legitimate expense for us. But sometimes you never know what's going to happen with accounting or others. So I would just promise you I'd make every effort to help defray that expense so that there'd be no cost to the Minerals Council.
Good enough. I appreciate that. Call for the question, please.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes, I believe the health of our people, this is necessary.
Councilman Redcorn,
Same.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
No.
Councilman Revard,
Yes.
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray.
No.
Motion passes.
All right. Good enough. Mr. Shaw, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate your time.
You bet.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, going on to next one is mine, rescind resolution 4-69 and reinstate committee reports. I miss the committee reports because I like to hear what everyone's doing. I don't want to have to sit through a whole committee meeting and figure out what they're doing. I'd rather whoever is in charge of that committee give a report and say, this is where we're at. This, like Paul could come in and say, we plugged a lot of wells. How many wells you plugged? Where are we at on the budget? We're moving on, you know, or give us an update on maybe his properties that he's looking at leasing. Or Ms. Gray could, you know, say our budget, you know, we're getting close to, you know, fiscal year, what have you. Everyone, even the scholarship committee, you know, they don't meet that often and have that much, but they can at least give us an idea of what's going on with that. But that's my pitch for reinstating the committee reports. And I'll turn the floor over to the council. And I can't make that a motion because I don't think the chair can make a motion. Councilwoman,
My hand up.
okay, Paul, Councilman Revard, and then I'll go to Councilman Redcorn.
All right. Well, he was ahead of me, but I'm just going to be brief. I like the idea of the committee reports in an open forum to where our head right owners, can be updated. I would just, would like them to be brief, because our mineral council meetings are pretty lengthy at times, and just so that we don't get bogged down, I'm certainly in favor of the reports during our open session, provided that we could try to make them brief as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Redcorn, I apologize again.
No problem. I agree with Councilman Revard, but also I'd like to put them at the end of the agenda, because I don't think we need have our potential customers sitting around listening to all our administrative stuff.
That's good, and everyone's wanting out of the meeting. It'd make it maybe go along a little quicker and a little briefer.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Foreman.
Yes, I agree with both council members, Redcorn and Rivard. I would just like to point out that our bylaws require a budget committee report. I've been asking for it for months, and I like the idea of having these committee reports, so I'll be voting yes.
Thank you. Again, I missed them. I like to see what everyone's doing. I don't have to want to sit in their meetings. But again, I thought it was important that the shareholders know what we're doing. I mean, you know, they're not hearing anything. I don't know is what I hear, but you know, everyone's pretty busy. I mean, there's a lot of committee meetings going on all the time. So I think this will help with the shareholders to kind of see that we are staying busy during the year. So anyway, I can't make the motion. If someone wants to make a motion.
Also move.
Second.
Okay, made motion by Councilwoman Foreman, second by Councilman Redcorn. Call for the question unless there's any more discussion. Seeing none, call for the question.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Revard,
Paul, we didn't hear.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Chairman or Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. I think I don't know. I may reform these committees, maybe move some people around. I'm not going to force it, but if there's an interest, I know that I will probably be getting off the well plugging committee for different reasons, but I would kind of like to realign those committees, but we'll discuss that, and I won't mess with that until maybe the next meeting we have, but that's kind of where I'm going with this. So just kind of forewarning. Next agenda on items, the 2019 biannual report. We kind of talked about, I'm sorry, Councilman Redcorn, did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to add that I've already asked Chairman Revard. I was going to get off the plugging committee as well. And yeah, and he said he was in agreement with that. I'm also just want to make sure that I'm not on the budget committee. I get those invitations. So anyway, if you're going to talk to all of us, I'd like to tell where I want to put my emphasis on these committees. Thank you, Chair.
Very good. We'll reshuffle it and send it out, and everyone's got their strengths and you know, expertise, and we can maybe pick up where we need to be. But I'll be working on that between now and the next meeting, and then we'll be ready for the next meeting in September. The next item is the 2019 biannual report. I think we decided we were going to, oh, no, wait a minute. We're going to table that, aren't we?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we table that till the next meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Second by, motion made by Councilwoman Foreman and seconded by Councilwoman Harlan. Any questions? Comments? Call for the question.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Revard,
Yes.
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcord.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Last item before adjournment is meeting minutes. That's in your board booklet. I hope everyone's read it. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
So moved.
All
Second.
right. Okay, motion made by Councilman Redcorn, seconded by Councilwoman Harlan. Comments or questions or statements? Seeing none, call for the question.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcord,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, meeting minutes are done. Last item, adjournment. Any motions or?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman Harlan, motion to adjourn, seconded by Councilwoman Foreman. No questions, call for the question. Call for the,
Councilman Waller,
Yes.
Chairman Yates,
yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcord,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's the meeting. We'll be in touch on the move and we'll be in touch on the questions on the biennial. And everyone stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.